who follows the religion of Judaism is to follow the Torah, and on and on and on. But he says, follow me. What does it mean to follow Jesus? He says it is to love the Lord your God with all your heart and mind and soul, and to love your neighbor as yourself. But as you do that, he tells you this is how that plays out. His maiden speech, Luke chapter 4, verse 18, when he preached his first sermon, quoting from Isaiah 61, he says, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he has anointed me to preach the good news to the poor, to bring sight to the blind, to bring freedom to the captives, and to declare the acceptable year of the Lord's favor. He is saying to you that the Christian message is not one where we avoid the issues of the day. Right now we have a riot going on in LA, I believe that was yesterday. There are political issues going on in this country as we speak. In my native Kenya, the same thing. And the danger for the Christian is to withdraw into a cocoon of hyper-spiritual beliefs that are useless for the purpose of a community. Jesus says, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he has anointed me to do what? Not to speak in tongues, nothing wrong with that. Not to spend hours and hours in prayer, nothing wrong with that. Not to spend inordinate times in fasting and doing all this, nothing wrong with that. But he says the Spirit of the Lord has anointed me to preach the good news to the poor, to bring sight to the blind, freedom to the captives, and to declare the acceptable year of the Lord's favor. If you sat back and looked at all those statements, they are public health oriented, they are economically oriented. Jesus is saying salvation is not about getting saved and going to heaven. As much as that is important, he is saying to you, where between your salvation and when God takes you out, you have these 30, 40 years that God expects you to be involved in your community. So when he says deny yourself, he is saying reject the good, reject the comfortable to do that which is significant. Take up your cross, put down your priorities, and take his priorities. Which are they? He repeats them. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he has anointed me to preach the good news to the poor, to bring sight to the blind, freedom to the captives, and to declare the acceptable year of the Lord's favor. He is talking about justice. He is talking about assisting. He is talking about preaching. He is talking about why he came, so that he would preach and the gospel would be preached in every part of the world. Now, when he says, if you want to come to me, take up your cross and follow me, he is saying to decide you count the cost, but you also look at the gain. In business, usually when we get our audits from the state, because we use federal funds, they will come to us and ask for all kinds of documents, including a profit and loss statement. This money came in, you used this, what's remaining? And there's nothing wrong with that. All they are saying is, do you know what is your net gain or your net loss? What Jesus is saying is, sit back and do the math and look at what you're gaining or what you are losing. Why? Because he is saying it is possible to gain the world, put that under gain. But to lose your life, put that under loss. So he asks you, would you rather lose here or gain here? You see, when I was first married, I still am married to the one and only Lydia, 30 years and counting. When we first got married, we would get into arguments, and I want to win that argument, and I would go on and on and on until I realized by winning that argument, I lost the argument. By winning it, I actually lost. Because this person now felt like I am overwhelming her, and she would withdraw. So my victory became hollow. It became, in fact, it was counterproductive. By winning, I lost. And I learned many times just to take what is going on. Sometimes just say, okay, can we discuss this tomorrow? Sometimes you can gain by losing or lose by gaining. That's what Jesus is talking about. He is saying the person who comes after me will, he said, for whoever would save his life will lose it. But whoever loses his life for my sake and the gospel will save it. For what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and forfeit his soul? For what can a man give in return for his soul? Whoever is ashamed of me and my words in this generation, of him the Son of Man will be ashamed when he comes in the glory with the angels. One of the people who died a couple years ago in my native Kenya, I shall not mention any names, is really very wealthy, who it's hard to go through Nairobi and not find a building that he owns or co-owned. But he died a couple years ago, and before he died, through stomach cancer, throat cancer, whatnot, was eating by G-tube, going to the bathroom by a colostomy. You basically gave him a pill to sleep and a pill to wake up. The very pleasure embraced by the poorest of the poor, a simple act of eating, a piece of, I don't care, food, just even a grain of rice. That simple pleasure was denied him. And there he is with more and more zeros in his account, more and more buildings through the city, and this man has lost. And it was interesting to go through Nairobi and, of course, hear this building and that thing, 1,000 acres here and 1,000 acres here, and not think of the words of Jesus, that the one who tries to keep his life will lose it, but the one who loses his life for the gospel's sake will keep it. So you can apply the analogy of the profit and loss in your life by making thoughtful and deliberate decisions that prioritize obeying Jesus versus your own personal pursuits. What does that even look like? When you wake up in the morning, what decisions are you making day in, day out that Jesus is talking about here? Once you have made the decision that, yes, I am a believer, or I am trying to live my life as a follower of Jesus, not perfectly, I am trying, I am aiming, I am following him. What does that look like Monday through Friday? Let me give you some practical ways to do that. First, evaluate your priorities regularly. Just as a business evaluates its profit and losses, the believer can assess their priorities. Reflect on whether your actions and decisions align with your spiritual goals and values. If someone followed you throughout a 24-hour period, are they able to conclude that you are going where you say you are going? If I followed you around and took a sum total of all your decisions in a 24-hour period, could I say that you are going where you say you are going? Evaluate your priorities regularly. We do that in businesses every quarter. We have a quarterly statement because it allows us to see where is the business going. Are we doing okay? Are we meeting our targets? What's happening? What's going on? Where do we make adjustments? Number two, and I'm making this easier for you, they all start with E's. E, number one, evaluate your priorities regularly. Number two, embrace self-denial in your choices on spending. You see, self-denial is not a dirty word. For many of us, we hear self-denial, we think it's a dirty word. Hey, I work hard, I should be able to play hard. Nothing wrong with that. The importance of self-denial and taking up your cross cannot be overstated, and you can apply this by willingly making sacrifices for your faith. dedicating time for prayer, time for worship, time for service, even when it requires giving up personal comforts or leisure activities. Some Sundays I'm coming to church and the Southern California sun is calling me. It's saying, let's ditch church. Let's just hit the beach. It's such a perfect day to be out there sunbathing, you know? Embracing self-denial doesn't have to be something complicated. It's something as simple as making that decision that I am going to go this place for prayer and worship and service because I have a priority to grow as a believer. Number 3, exercise your faith during challenges. Number 1, evaluate your priorities. Number 2, embrace self-denial. Number 3, exercise your faith during challenges, trusting that Jesus will support you as you honor him. You see, while following Jesus may involve temporal losses, they are minor compared to your goal and your gains. And you can apply this easily by the knowledge that when you choose to take up your cross, there are challenges. We were doing a land transaction in Nairobi, Kenya, not so long ago, a couple of days ago, going through some documents that had to go to the counter in Nakuru. And of course, in Kenya, the key word is if you give this amount of money, we can, fast track this. And the person who was handling my business, because he has worked with me long enough, said to them, this is Pastor Kimani, he doesn't bribe. So he's like, if it's going to take long, so be it. We don't take shortcuts if we have to subvert justice. And it was interesting to actually see the person say, okay, I can do that. I can work within the logistics. We did e-citizen, and in the space of maybe, 3 hours, the document was procured. Exercise your faith during challenges, trusting that Jesus will support you. When you make a decision and you make a stand that is biblical, then you can trust God to see you through it. You don't know how he will do it. You don't know how he will meet your needs, but you know he will come through somehow. And you know what? The testimony is in standing and saying, this is insane. It happened. I told you way back in March, we were purchasing some property for ministry, and as we were doing that, I get a phone call, it's going to take this long, and this long, and this long, and we say it again. And because I'm crazy and I like doing these things so that I can remind myself, I spoke out loudly, and I said, heavens, you hear this. We will not go in that direction. I said clearly, heaven and earth, you bear witness. We will not bribe. That was the beginning of February, I believe it was. And by March 21st, it was not only done, but it was so funny that they processed the title even before we were done paying for the building. In fact, the owner who was selling the land was so scared that we were going to walk away with the title because we had put in around, 40%, and the title was processed, and I got a copy of it. And so what we said to the gentleman who was selling us the property, we will give this to your attorney to hold on to it until we are done paying. He's like, wow, you're doing that? Yes, because being a believer means you make decision and you dare God to fail you, because God will not fail you. Exercise your faith during challenges and trust that Jesus will support you. 4, execute conscious decisions and follow up on them. Businesses make strategic decisions to maximize profits. You too make conscious and committed decisions to follow Jesus. You are intentional in your spiritual practices. Do you have time set aside to pray? Do you have time set aside to read the scriptures? Do you have time set aside to fast, participate in worship, live out your faith, write it down, evaluate the outcome? Where am I? Some of you know we've had a lot of students here who run cross-country, and it's good to walk with them, to observe them during training time. One of the gentlemen who used to be here has gone back now, I think, to Latvia. You would go to this great feast, and he is picking and choosing. And I said to him, Arthurs, why don't you eat what's here? He said, I have a race tomorrow morning. And so he was eating, very picky. I am eating this for energy. I am eating this. I am eating this. He is executing conscious decisions based on what he was doing. He was saying, I am trying to shave maybe 5 seconds from my race best. So I have to eat this and to eat that. Execute conscious decisions. Write them down. Do it. Evaluate the outcome. And then get to evaluate your growth and adjust as needed. When you prioritize growth, the question is, what do you want to do? I want to spend time in prayer. How do you do that? Spend time in prayer. Maybe not 30 minutes. Maybe not 45 minutes. Just shoot for 5 minutes. Put a timer on your watch, phone, whatever. Most of your phones now are easy to set for it to remind you every day. There are all kinds of apps online that will remind you to pray. You can find them. Go to Google, go to Apple Store, whatever. They are there. It will remind you maybe 3 times a day or 4 times a day. It will just be bing. It will just consciously take 5 minutes. I have one that reminds me to get up and walk about, because when I sit down in the office and I'm working all kinds of things, I can be there for hours and hours, and I have the app that actually says, stand up. And people are surprised because you're typing, then you stand like, what's going on? No, my app says stand up because I've been sitting here for too long. Evaluate your growth outcomes. What are you prioritizing? Seek opportunities for spiritual growth. Serve, attend retreats, engage in meaningful conversation with believers, and continuously read the Bible. I get tired of discussing Trump and the NBA and the NFL and nothing else. And I'm thinking, come on, people, we can do more than this. But when we meet, it's either Trump or the NBA or the NFL, and nobody is saying, I read this verse, it makes no sense. Pastor, what do you think? Or whoever it is, what do you think? You meet with each other. Evaluate your growth outcomes. Adjust as needed. Meaningful conversations. Do you take time to just talk with someone who will give you a headache? Those people are good. I met a young man yesterday. I will not mention any names. And as we were talking, he begins talking about cosmology, Neil deGrasse. I'm like, where are you from again? Just a typical Kenyan young man in his 30s. He reads. And he gave me a headache. It was a good headache. Because if we are talking politics, it's easy. I can put my brain into sleep mode and just, Musk, Trump, what? These people, Ruto, But someone asks you, what do you think? Why do you think the Bible talks of one day? Is it a 24-hour day or a period of 1,000 years? What do you think of evolution? And the Bible like, now you give me a headache. What does counting the cost look like? It's applying that analogy. You evaluate your priorities. You embrace self-denial. Exercise your faith when you are challenged. Execute or take conscious decisions and follow them. Write it down. I want to spend 5 minutes every day reading the Bible. That's it. Only 5 minutes. Nothing. It is no big deal. And the 5 minutes grow into 10 minutes, and the 10 minutes grow into 30 minutes, and then you find yourself having to block an entire 2 hours because you are enjoying what you are reading. You grow by growing. There's no shortcut. You get to read more by reading more. You get to pray more by praying more. There's no shortcut to that. And as you do that, you're surprised that God begins to work in your life. When you make decisions that reflect your commitment to God, Jesus says, if anyone wants to come after me, deny yourself, take up your cross, follow me. Deny yourself. Take up your cross, follow me. None of those is a belief thing. All those are action things. All those are verbs. It's not I believe. It is I am doing something because I believe. To deny yourself is actual. It's a verb. It's what we learned in grade school. It's an action verb. It's a doing verb. It's not passive. It's active. Something that you actually have to think about. What do I want to do with this? And then he says, when you prioritize your faith over worldly pursuits, and you make those intentional choices that reflect your commitment to spiritual growth, you will grow. Practical steps going from here, what do? Set aside time daily for prayer, meditation, read the Bible. Bare minimum 5 minutes. Some of you sit in the bathroom longer than that. It's a great place, by the way, to sit there. Nobody bothers you. Put on your Bible app. A lot can be done in those 5 minutes. This helps you stay connected to God and provide spiritual nourishment. Number 2, community engagement. Participate in church activities. Join a Bible study group somewhere. Engage in fellowship. Be part of a community of faith that provides support, encouragement, and accountability. Volunteer your time and resources to assist others. Come in early. When you're in a small church, it's easy. Nobody is allowed to sit down long because you realize all hands on deck. When you start hitting 500, then people can sit at the back. But that's always dangerous. Small churches are a great way to get connected. Participate in activities that are going on. Service and giving. Volunteer your time and resources to assist others. It doesn't have to be in the offering basket. Maybe someone needs, jumpstart. Someone is running out of gas money. Just fill their tank. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. Focus on the needs of others rather than your own material pursuits. Mindful decision making. Before making decisions, consider how they align with your faith. Ask yourself if the choice you are making will draw you closer to God or distract you from your spiritual goals. Limit distractions. Identify and reduce activities or habits that pull you away from your faith journey. Sometimes that includes limiting time spent on social media, entertainment, and other distractions. I'm a news junkie. Left to myself, I will read news again and again. And I had to disable the news app on my iPhone and on my Galaxy because I'm a news junkie. I can stay there for hours, and I had to make a conscious decision. I will get the news when I pursue it. None of these notifications, ping, 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 and you're getting all these silly pings. So-and-so got arrested in Thailand. So what? And then you go down that rabbit hole for 30 minutes. Oh, so-and-so just got drafted. So what? You go another 30 minutes. Limit distractions. Identify and reduce activities or habits that pull you away from your faith. Again, this might include limiting time spent on social media, entertainment, and other distractions. Even the gym can be too much. Practice or cultivate a habit of gratitude by reflecting on the blessings in your life. We live in a society that is programmed to tell you what you don't have. Okay? Spend time in Europe, even the beds there are small. Even the cars are tiny. You're like, I can't wait to go back to my noisy, messy Los Angeles. Because when I'm here, I am being told how little I have and how much I need. And you go out there and you realize, no. And then we go to visit people in Kenya, and you are in this, what I thought was a bathroom-size room, has a bed and a kitchenette and a chair. You see, the danger is that if you don't practice gratitude, you find yourself getting more, and getting more. There is this very funny, as I bring this home, this very funny video online of this monkey, I think it was in Thailand, and this person is doing a non-sanctioned experiment with this monkey. He has a bag full of bread. He give it a piece of bread, it would bite. Before it's done biting, he give it another one. It will put this one down and grab this one, and soon the monkey had a whole heap here of bread. It doesn't know what to do with it. It hasn't eaten any of it. When the others come, they take everything. And this clip is funny because the one who posted it doesn't say anything. He just lets you decide that you too can be like that monkey if you are not careful. See, part of practicing gratitude is to decide that I have worked enough today, I am tired, I am going home to spend time with my family or for self-care or to just take a nap. Otherwise, you can do doubles and triples and quadruples, and then we take that money to the doctor. And when you are looking at your 60s with a peg and a colostomy bag and a pill for sleeping and for waking up, you realize, I think I pursued the wrong things. Spiritual goals, set specific spiritual goals in your life. Memorize scriptures, plan fast. Sometimes do a media fast. Turn off the